First here, in relation to what we have discussed of physics of electricity, electrical components, etc. If we're going to look at the back of the machine, if you have the symbol, turning arrow down, what's the arrow down? Pasabot that is going towards the ground. So therefore, kanisha, this is the connection for ground wire supposedly. So how to connect the ground wire? You just loosen this up and attach the wire there, and then tighten that one and attach the other end of the wire towards the ground or towards the pipe. So we were saying there's already ground wire. But if we're going to observe here, there's no wire that is connected to the ground. So therefore, based from this one, we would say that the machine is not grounded. Nakajip? Wala, may ground wire. Okay, if I'm going to ask, what are other probably feature that probably you can probably note if the machine is grounded or not, aside from presence of ground wire? Other probably feature that probably you can note if ever grounded ba siya or not. What else? Sa paman, aside from the ground wire connected to the ground. Diba? May siya na-connect sa ground, so di siya grounded. But there are other ways there na makainunta mag-grounded ang machine. Sa paman. Okay, try to observe the cord, the AC cord nga gi-use sa machine. So if you're going to look at here, this is the socket there where you're going to apply the AC cord. You have 3 terminals, di ba? So if ever kung you have 3 terminals, what do you expect? Nana siya yung terminal for ground, di ba? Kaya 3 terminals man siya, di ba? Right? So nana siya yung for ground. And try to observe now your AC cord. Okay. Pula ni cord para ma-apply na ito katong physics sa electricity. If you're going to look at your AC cord, nagyan po siya 3 terminals, di ba? Para really mo fit in here. Even if 2 terminals mo fit in, but 3 terminals siya din. Okay na tato kay 3 terminals. But here, if you're going to look further sa plug, okay, what do you see sa plug? It's what? What type of plug is this again? Kalimut na sa name. Sakit ito nga name, ano nga plug? Hello. Hello, sir. Fly away na. Okay. Okay, it's a 2-pin plug, di ba? Right. So, 2-pin plug. Okay. So, if ever it's a 2-pin plug, would you expect na ground or wala? Wala. Grounded or not? 2-pin plug. Okay, so if ever is a 2-pin plug, so this is siya grounded. Okay, where would you expect ang ground mo kan if ever you have 2? Di ba sa 2 you have the live wire or live connection and then neutral, di ba? So duha, asa na ay katuloy so for the ground, wala. So it should be nga, in order to show na is grounded siya, hinahanglan you have a 3-pin plug. Yeah. So 2-pin man siya, so automatically we would say nga, di siya grounded still ang machine here. And then, if you're going to also observe with regards to the outlet, what type of outlet we have? What's the name of that outlet again? Nakalimot na siya sa aming pang-lecture. What's the name of that outlet? I'll look the answer. Okay, you have a two-prone outlet, di ba? Okay, so this is 3. So even if your AC cord is a 3-pin plug, but if ever you only have a 2-prone outlet, hindi po niyo ma-insert, di ba? So you still need a certain adapter perhaps or what para may mo siyang 2-pin plug. So again, we would expect na di dito makaka-grounded na machine unless we attach the wire here. So take note here, that all these modalities that we're using are not grounded here. So if there would be excessive current, na excessive current na mo transmit towards the casing, which is metal, kung na ay current mag-transmit ha. If ever mo touch mo, or the therapist or the patient, then expect that you would encounter what? A shock. So if I'm going to ask, what type of shock? If mo touch mo din niya, naka-shock. What type of shock? What type of shock? Again? Regal shock. Okay. So it would be an earth shock. Okay, it will be an earth shock because the current will really go towards the ground, diba? Ang patient or ang therapist man mo nearest going towards the ground, ang shortest pathway. So man siya, expect that might you can encounter earth shock. So take note of this. Earth. So man siya ang concern na for which to this modality. Okay, so we're going to turn this on now. So here you have, again, you can open your picture. Here you have the switch here. So what type of switch is this? Na-discuss natin sa switches. What type of switch?
Rocker, sir.
Okay, so rocker switch, diba? So you have the symbol, if ever 0, it's off. Then vertical line, it's on. Okay, so we're going to turn this on. There. So, I am touching the casing right now. What may happen na ako. So, wala excess current, diba? Over there. Alright, so here, if you're going to look at here, there's the display there are 0. So, that would indicate that the machine is normally working. If ever you would encounter a horizontal line, that would indicate that the machine, there's a problem on the machine. So, wala. Okay. Also, a standard operating procedure, SOP, that before you apply the electrode to the patient, the modality should be turned on first. So, turn on first before applying the electrode. Okay, if ever you're going to apply the electrode first, kung may apply electrode, no. After that, o saan mo i-turn on ang machine. If accidentally lang mo explode ang machine, yung patient is attached to the electrode, then you'll expect that my patient can able to encounter again the shock there. So, again, once may explode siya, the current cannot anymore probably go back to the neutral line because might be na disconnected na kayo, nibuto naman siya, di ba? So, asa man ang shortest pathway sa imong current, kaya wala naman ang neutral, di naman siya kato sa neutral wire, what? The shortest pathway to the ground is towards the electrode and further towards the patient and further towards the ground. So, pwede maka-encounter probably ang patient of earth shock. Again, so muna siya, in order for the safety of the patient, you have to turn on first the modality so that if ever mo explode mo siya or makuhan, safe ga ang iyong patient, kaya mo siya connected sa machine here. So after turning it on, adjust the parameter and apply the electrode. Alright. So here, for this knob, okay, so this knob is a selector knob used to select for the different waveforms or type of stimulus that you're going to apply to the patient. So focus on the right side, ayaw sa ang left side ha, on the right side sa parameter. Alright. On the right side, you can see this mga graphical illustration, di ba? This one, uppermost, middle, and lowermost, di ba? You can see that sa picture, okay? There. So based from this one, based from this mga graphical illustration sa inyong pulse waveform, if I'm going to ask first, is this monophasic or biphasic? Monophasic or biphasic? Again? Why mono? Say clue ninyo na mono siya. Ha? Again? Upward, downward. So kung na upward, downward, so you have two, di ba? Naman ka kay upward o downward, so duha siya. Ha? Upward. Okay, so thank you for that. So here, if we're going to look at here, your mga waveform are just found on one side, di ba? If this would be the line there, all of those pulses are found on above the line, di ba? So, walay other pulses that are found below the line, di ba? So, therefore, it is found on one face na siya. Pwede naman sa good yapon yan, dili ra sa tanan sa ubos. So, it's still one face. So, therefore, only one face na ayan na siya. So, therefore, this is monophasic. Nakaji. So, kung biphasic, nanan sa nisugpay niya. So, mag-ana na siya. Naka-G sa biphasic. Kaya, kada na akong white word. Ano siya? So, that will be biphasic. Kasi it is only one side or all are found above, so it's monophasic. Okay. So, if ever the pulse waveform are monophasic, I'm going to ask, what type of current does the modality would produce? Is it alternating current or direct current? Again? Okay, it would be a direct current. Okay, kung monophasic. So based from this illustration, you cannot say that it's a direct current yang produced. Even when a word there na direct current, but based on the waveform there, you cannot say it's a direct current. Okay. If I'm going to further ask, with regards to the current modulation, diba? You have this summary of continuous mode and interrupted mode, diba? Two chemicals of our constant, diba? Na continuous mode, na interrupted mode. With this illustration, is it continuous mode or interrupted mode? Continuous mode or interrupted mode siya? Again? Interrupted. How did you know na it's interrupted? Say clue ninyo or inanan is interrupted. So may ilhanan nga, interrupted na siya, sir. There's a what? How did you know that there's an off time? Wala man siya yung duration. Okay, what is that? Alright, so here is because, thank you for that. If you're going to observe your waveform, there is some sort of an interval within each pulse, diba? So, meron nga siya, you go up, then you go down. So, when you go down, yung pagkakot, wala na yung current, diba? So, we would say nga, ang paghatag niya pulses are what? Intermittent, diba? Intermittent. Na yung portion nga nihatag siya, nasa yung portion nga wala. Especially na yung portion yung manisaka. So, intermittent. So, therefore, we would say that the mode is interrupted. So, therefore, this is an example of an interrupted direct current, IDC. Right? So you have encountered those terms like short IDC, long IDC, even short interrupted direct current. Na natanda? Hindi na natanda. Wala. There's the word. Okay. Kaya na ha. Kaya if ever kung continuous mode yan, money illustration. It goes up and straight like na siya. There's no interruption, so that's called continuous mode. Okay? Questions?
Sir, if ever, ato sa isang biphasic, kay continuous, or wala lang ang biphasic?
Hindi, for biphasic siya, so it would still be interrupted yapon siya sa continuous case. Biphasic man siya, If ever it's a biphasic niya, walay, walay interval, it's still continuous siya. Kung if ever sumpay na siya. But if na-interval between, usa na interval, another one. So that is interrupted. So kung mag-continue na siya, na siya, so continue siya. Yeah? Other questions? Then, okay. So now, here. So, this is one of the parameters that you have to choose in your treating the patient. Whether to use, what type of pulse waveform is this? Based on the illustration. Because you have several pulse waveform, di ba? Okay, why you say sawtooth ni siya? Why you say na sawtooth ni siya? Sawtooth siya is because, say clue ninyo na sawtooth siya. How would you know sawtooth na siya? However, say hanan. Tooth sa saw. Ano sa may tooth sa saw? So in a sawtooth, there's gradual increase in intensity towards the peak, and then after that, abruptly it goes back to the baseline or zero. That's characteristic of a sawtooth. Na siya. Okay, you also have another one there. You have your triangular. So naka-difference between the triangular with sawtooth is that sa triangular, same na sila, and they start going up to the peak there, gradual, but in triangular, as it goes down back to zero or baseline, gradual. But in sawtooth is abrupt. RG. So there. So again, your sawtooth, your triangular or trapezoidal are part of your exponential progressive waveform. So when you say exponential progressive means gradual ang pag-rise niya towards the peak of the current. Ano ang tulog? Your triangular, your sawtooth, or trapezoidal. So in this modality, your exponential progressive waveform is represented by your sawtooth. Nakaji. Alright. How about this one? What type of pulse waveform is this? Again? Okay, rectangular. So everything are abrupt. Going up as well as going down. Nakaji. Okay. So now, we're going to choose now which of these pulse waveform we're going to apply to the patient. Okay. With regards to this modality, we have two general conditions that we can encounter here. Okay, one condition is that the muscle has nerve supply, and we have the term innervated muscle. Other condition is that the muscle doesn't have any nerve supply, and we have the term denervated muscle. Okay, dinner, dili sa lunch. So, denervated muscle dinner. Okay. So here, I say general, so it's up to you to further analyze the condition of the patient. So there are certain conditions there that inertia, there are certain conditions that denervated. Like for example, if I'm going to ask, if you encounter a condition wherein there is a transection of the nerve there, what would you expect sa imong muscle? Is it innervated or denervated? Na-transected ang nerve there, naputol or na-impinge, or however, na-impinge siya, na grabe kayo. What do you expect there? Is it innervated or denervated ang muscle? Again? Okay, denervated. So, denervated siya because again, once the nerve is cut off or na-transect or na-impinge, tendency later on mag-degenerate siya mga so we can encounter probably denervated. Correct. Let's say, if ever you have a condition nga stroke, you're familiar with stroke, di ba? One example, kay common lang kay, even your CBR, you mentioned about stroke, di ba? There, kay common. So, if ever stroke, is it innervated or denervated? Again?
Denervated.
Denervated ang stroke. Why ma-denervated kung stroke ang patient? Ano ma-denervated siya? O, paano ko lang, analyze. Ano ma-denervated siya if ever kung mag-stroke?
Ang stroke survey na naman makalit ang patient. Kaya tungkol na.
Yeah, so denervated na siya, confirm. Agree tanan, denervated. Agree, cover siya. Okay. At least, refer. Okay, here. If you're going to further analyze, when you say stroke, kung saan yan affected, ano nag-stroke siya is because there's a problem with regards to the blood supply, especially dito sa brain, di ba? Or more, when you have stroke, it's really brain, di ba? Like cerebrovascular, so stroke sa brain. So, ang brain yun na-affected, di ba? Okay. So, kung ang brain na na-affected, would you expect also the nerve would be affected? Na mawala na yung nerve supply ang muscle kung na-affected na ang brain here. Okay, so here, at least naka-assess ko inyong ano siya. Okay, so here. So although it's the brain that is controlling, siya ni send of impulse towards the nerve, but still in a stroke patient, the nerves are intact. Dili lang siya makalihok, those stroke patient, di lang siya ka-move. It's not because na walay nerve supply, kaya we have used the term, di ba? Walay nerve supply, absence of nerve supply. I didn't mention na, when I say denervated muscle, I didn't mention na there's absence of the nerve impulse. Wala. I mentioned the absence of nerve supply. So, yung nerve supply is still the nerve. So, in the stroke, there is still presence of the nerve, but di lang siya maka-move is because wala signal from the brain that the muscle has to contract. Muna siya, di siya ka-move. But the nerve is still there. So, the muscle are still innervated. Muna siya ma-happen sa mga upper motor neuron lesion. I just hope na na-recall niyo ang neuroscience o neurology. Muna siyang mga conditions sa upper motor neuron lesion that the nerves are still intact. But the problem there is those mga structures that are really sending message to the nerve, mo na problem. So therefore, the nerves here are still intact. So therefore, the muscle are still innervated. Kaya so mali siya. So innervated siya. So these are just example condition where we say na innervated siya. Ano na? So again ha, when we say denervated, it doesn't mean na walay nerves impulse na send. It's say the structure there ha, absent. When you say denervated, na wala yun ang nerve niya ha. Dili ang signal. It's really the nerve that is absent. We say denervated. Ha. So, okay. So now, we're going to choose which of these pulse waveform that we can take. So take note, I just hope again you will mag-vote, that both these pulse waveforms can stimulate both innervated and denervated muscle. Kanita na pulse waveform, whether triangular, sawtooth, trapezoidal, rectangular, maka-stimulate your innervated and denervated muscles. But it's just that there is mas preferable na pulse waveform that will be applied to certain condition na preferable. Okay. So if I'm going to ask now, if ever you have an innervated muscle, which is preferable to be applied? Is it sawtooth or rectangular kung innervated? Ako na answer first. Right, nag-iwag ako mo kanina. I just hope maka-reinforce ko sa lecture. So here, if ever innervated, as you mentioned, you have the presence of the nerve. Okay. If ever we're going to apply a sawtooth or triangular trapezoidal, then na presence of the nerve, tendency is because ang imong pulse there is gradual ang yan pag-increase. So there's a tendency for or more that the nerve would accommodate or mo adapt. You have this property of accommodation, di ba? So kung accommodate na kayo siya mo adapt, so di na siya ma-stimulate further. That's the problem there. So mana siya, what will happen there is that if you want to para maka-produce the contraction, you further increase the intensity. So therefore, if you're going to use a sawtooth, it can still stimulate those denervated muscle, but your intensities there are higher. Mas taas ang intensity. And what's the problem if the intensity is high? You would encounter greater risk of encountering electrical burns. So as much as possible, we want to use lesser intensities. So that's a problem if you're going to use sawtooth for denervated muscle. But if you're going to use rectangular pulse waveform for innervated muscle, you na expect since sa rectangular, abrupt ang yung changes, as you have again recall your law of Dubois-Raymond, wherein nerves can be more stimulated or directly stimulated if ever there's a sudden variation of the current, sudden variation, kalit. So therefore, your nerve here will not accommodate. So kung di siya ma-accommodate, so dali siya ma-stimulate. So kung dali na siya ma-stimulate, so you're going to use lesser intensity. So mana siya why, if you're going to use rectangular pulse waveform for innervated, lesser ang intensity. That's why, if ever your condition is innervated ang muscle, so therefore, you're going to choose rectangular pulse waveform. Nakaji. Yeah. Okay, next. With regards to your denervated muscle, we prefer to use the sawtooth for the reason that it can selectively choose only denervated muscle ang stimulate. Selectively choose. Okay, if ever you're going to use rectangular, so all those muscle, regardless of innervated ba siya or denervated, pwede niya ma-stimulate. But kung sawtooth gani, it's only the denervated muscle. Why? Because those mga innervated muscle will not be stimulated anymore. Denervated, if you're going to use sawtooth, okay? Your nerve has already accommodated or na-adapt. So, di na siya mo respond to the stimulus. Okay? So, mani siya, if we're going to look at here, if you have these two muscles, so let's say muscle A has nerve supply, you have innervated siya. Muscle B, wala nerve, so denervated siya. If you're going to apply, say you have this electrode, if you're going to use rectangular, tendency is that all of this muscle would contract, and there are times na probably na-note ninyo nga ni-contract siya, but might be a natural innervated muscle more ni-respond to your stimulus. And katong denervated, wala na kayo ni-respond. Okay, wala man siya nerve supply, so dali siya mo respond, kanilugay. So might be you think na-stimulate na to siya, pero wala na more na-stimulate ang denervated, more ang innervated. You don't know man God, okay, di makamalili sa structure. So mana siya, if we're going to also analyze, if you have a muscle na innervated and the other muscle na denervated, you more focus on this structure here na denervated. Kaning innervated, normal naman na siya. Why we have to treat a normal structure, di ba? Normal naman na siya. So, are you ka mo focus sa na-affected? So, mana siya, are you ka sa more sa denervated, di ba? So, mana siya, if your muscle is denervated and you want to stimulate only those denervated muscle, so you have to use your sawtooth. So, may siya, very practical, if ever denervated siya, so you have to use sawtooth. Okay, questions? At the moment, none. Okay na ta ha, kani siya. Okay, further below, at the lowest na quartet, you have this illustration. Kani siya. So you have several pulses there, more rectangular yung ikuan. And the pulses is gradually increasing and gradually decreasing. Although kung i-analyze ninyo dito, nag-plateau siya, di ba? Na a certain level o siya decrease. So, again, if ever your intensities and pulses, there's gradual increase and gradual decrease. So, we would say that it's either a surge or a ramp mode. So, naka-differ sa duha, so same ang ilang characteristic na ay gradual increase, na gradual decrease sa imong intensity. But, so naka-differ is that sa surge, there's no plateauing of the pulses there. Wala yung plateau sa intensity. So sa surge, dito na siya increase, then dito decrease. But sa ramp, sa ramp mode, increase siya, mo stay sa siya certain level o siya mo decrease. Ramp mode mo siya ramp. Okay? So, if you're going to activate your surge or your ramp mode, so you'd expect now that the intensity of the current would increase and would further decrease. So we usually activate this if ever the type of contraction is tetanic contraction. Familiar with tetanic? So may tetanic contraction, sedge contraction. Ano siya? Kung tetanic contraction, ano siya? Kung twitch contraction, ano siya? Here. Okay. So, if ever, so again, as you mentioned, we activate the surge or the ramp mode if ever we're going to use a tetanic contraction. Okay, if you're not going to activate this, if hindi nyo i-activate ang ramp surge mode niya, mag-tetanic contraction, mag-ana rin siya, magsige na lang contract. And then, ang problem na is that tendency, easily mo fatigue ang patient. Dali ka po yan ang muscle sa patient. Wala, may relaxation. But if we're going to activate the ramp or the surge mode, what will happen? So, let's just say you set the intensity to 5 milliampere. So, what happens there, ang imong intensity will go up from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, as it goes up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 ampere. So, maana siya 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After sa 5, mo decrease siya, di ba? So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 ang milliampere. So, pag 5, 3, 2, 1, mo relax siya a little bit. Yeah, pag mo increase na siya 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm referring to the value there's a milliampere. So, man siya, in a way, the muscle can a little bit relax if you activate the ramp or the surge mode. As compared, if you're not going to activate that one, magsige lang contract, dali siya kapuyan. Okay lang ni siya na mode there if ever you want to fatigue the muscle. But if ever your goal is not to fatigue the muscle but to help in moving the part, enhance motion, reeducation, so di siya appropriate if ever magsige contract. Here, so again, we activate the ramp mode if ever we would expect a tetanic contraction. Here, so man siya. So automatically, you don't have to choose any more than 2. Dito na nakag-place sa ramp if ever mo ramp mode ka. Okay? Here. Okay. So next, so you're being asked to choose mga aning tulo. So kung wala kag choose sa rectangular or sawtooth, wala yung ramp mo happen. So mana kung ganahan ka mo ramp, ato na dyan ka dito sa ramp. Here. The next. Any questions? None at the moment. The next knob here, this is to adjust for the pulse duration. So this is yung next knob. So if we're going to look at below sa knob there, one is siya ang symbol. You can see there what? Ano siya, go up. And na siya yung line there. So sabot money yan, di-emphasize. So ni go up man siya. So that will indicate the duration wherein the current is introduced to the structure. Pulse duration. The duration where the current is introduced to the structure. So pulse duration, Again, you have two there. Either short siya or long pause duration. We have mentioned sa lecture kung short can be ranged from 0.0 to 21 milliseconds sa lecture. Then long will be 10 milliseconds and up, diba? But here, pwede rin din mag-consider na ang less than 10 milliseconds are under sa short pause duration. Mula ni ang common na short pause duration use. But kung may further ko ang less than 10 milliseconds, so we would still consider that to be short. And long will be 10 milliseconds and up. Alright. So now, we're going to set now the pause duration. So again, for innervated muscle, it can be stimulated with both short and long. Pwede rin yun short, pwede long if ever innervated. Okay, normal naman yun, ay presence of the nerve. So, pwede rin siya mag-use of short or long. Even with long pause duration, kung innervated siya, you really expect na lesser ang intensity. Take note that the longer the stimulus is there sa structure, dugay mo stay, mas stimulate ang structure. Marihara na if ever kusion ka sa mong classmate, kung kadyot na ka kusion, wala may marwa raman, diba? Paswayig dugay o kusi. Diba, mo react ka, mo respond ka, kay sakit na siya, di nakaka-tolerate, diba? Same as that. If the longer is the stimulus there mo stay, mas stimulate ang structure. So therefore, kung more stimulate ang structure, so therefore, we just would use lesser intensity. Muna maka-use ra kag lesser intensity kaya mas-stimulate naman siya here. But here, with regards to your innervated muscle, take note ha, with regards to your innervated muscle, we prefer to use a short pause duration. Kaya ko innervated short. Kaya nga no short pause duration man. Right. So that the pause interval, manya reason na nga no short pause duration actually used. So that the pause interval would be short. Okay, kaya inyong clue sa pause interval is at least 2 to 3 times the pause duration. Kung short man nga siya, so imong pause interval, isa kayo siya taas sa short siya. And why we want to have a short pause interval so that we can produce a tetanic contraction. Which I'm going to further elaborate that later. So, para makaproduce the tetanic contraction na siya. And why we want a tetanic contraction? Ang aim dyan is we want to have a tetanic contraction so that it's because ang tetanic contraction is more the functional motion. Okay, functional motion siya. So, mas ideal siya na type of contraction. If we're going to say that your goal is to re-educate the muscle or to maintain the integrity of the motion there, the range of motion, it would be better that the ang tetanic contraction ma-elicit. So, ano siya? So, again, this is a tetanic contraction. This is a twitch. As we mentioned, your tetanic contraction is more the functional motion or action. So you just imagine if ever your goal there is to re-educate the muscle. Say re-educate is your re-educating, like dugay na, what niya use ang muscle niya, yung re-educate. If you're going to use a twitch to re-educate, what would you expect? Perhaps the patient more maka-learn. Probably might be more learn more of using it in a twitch manner, di ba? Like for example, you're going to place your foot towards the mouth. So, kung kuhan ka ang twitch, so might be mag-anak na siya. O kuhan sa mouth, di ba? Or mag-comb siya sa hair. Instead nga mag-anak ka, mag-anak siya. Kay twitch man ang inyong gitwitch sa inyong patient. So, man na siya, why? we're aiming more for the functional action or motion, and that is the tetanic contraction, because that's more the functional motion. Okay? So again, we use short pause duration because in order to have a short pause interval, and why we prefer to have a short pause interval para is more tetanic contraction. And why tetanic contraction? Is more the functional action. Here, so short pause duration na if ever innervated. Okay, next, for denervated muscle, it will not respond to a short pause duration kung denervated. Okay, kaya wala naman ang nerve. Ang nerve may more sensitive to the stimulus. So kung butangan, kung kadyot na kayo ni ibutang ang stimulus niya, wala yung nerve, di na siya ma-respond. So kinala imo dugayon o apply ang stimulus so that the muscle can able to respond. So that's why for denervated muscle, it will only respond to a long pause duration. Mano siya, kung denervated, i-adjust niyo mo, it should be long. Nakaji. Okay, so here, how to adjust for your pause duration. So you just adjust the knob here. Let's say for example, you place this to 6, and this one is the multiplier. You can adjust your multiplier by pressing this selector switch. So choose na mo. If ever mo siga ganing a times 10, pasabot ana, whatever value here you have pointed, it's times 10. So that would be 6 times 10. So based from this would be 60 milliseconds. Here have. So imo rin na i-choose whatever o say ganan mo ka. Depende sa. Any questions on pause duration? None. Okay, let's move on to the pause interval. Kanisha. So next knob. So if we're going to look at here, below sa knob, you can see this figure there. You have two pulses, and de-emphasize here the space between the two pulses, so that would be the interval. So if you have the pulse interval, that will indicate the off na phase, off, wala current, or the resting. So what's the significance of having pulse interval? So that the structure will undergo repolarization or makarest a certain period of time as structure. Because if ever there's no repolarization, then there's no depolarization. Yeah, kung walay depolarization will happen, walay muscle action or contraction will happen. So therefore, in order to have depolarization, hinanap mo repolarize ang structure. Mano siya, we have to have a pause interval there. Okay, para maka-repolarize. Okay, with regards to the pause interval, at least 2 to 3 times ang pause duration ang formula, at least. So, pwede rin even more than 3. Pwede 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. It's up to you. Okay? So, pwede rin siya. So, if ever you have 60 here, milliseconds ang pause duration, so ang pause interval expected at least should be 120 milliseconds at least. Even greater than. Okay. So take note with regards to your pause interval. The shorter is the pause interval, the more tetanic contraction you would elicit. If the pause interval is longer, then it's more twitch ang mo produce. Okay, so again, shorter ang pause interval, tetanic contraction, then longer you would expect muscle twitch. Yeah. Okay, so how to adjust that one? So you just adjust this one. Manisha, you can see here blink there. Ever okay, so if ever shorter ang pause duration, you can be see na more kani siya nga LED, by the way, if ever muhatag ay current mo, light ni siya. So if ever shorter ang pause duration nimo, so sige siya gahatag current. But if ever kung imo i-further increase the value there, tendency is di kay siya continuous na ang paghatag sa current. Yung break naman siya. Here, so share mo open. Question so far? Right. Okay, next here, this one. Further going towards the right side. So this knob is used to adjust what's the number of ramp or surge per minute. So ramp mo siya. So number of ramp per minute. So here, if you activate your ramp mode, so you have to adjust this one. But kung wala niyo mag-activate ang ramp mode, then you don't need to adjust this anymore. Okay. So with regards to the type of ramp number there, you have from 1 to 10. So mani siya ma-happen. If ever, let's say, you choose 5 ramp per minute mo siya, ramp per minute mo siya. So what will happen here is that, ani siya, as we mentioned, that we activate the ramp if ever it's a tetanic contraction. So, mani siya, so if ever mo increase ang imo intensity mo siya, mo decrease mo lang. So that will be 1 ramp. Another one, decrease 2 ramps. Another one, decrease 3. Another one, decrease 4. Another one, decrease 5. So this will happen within 1 minute. Kaya you apply naman 5 ramps per minute. Kung 10 ramps per minute, so 10 siya kabok mo, ano siya. Here, so here, if early pa ni mag-train ang muscle, early pa, so therefore, you can use lesser number of ramps per minute. If ever dugay na niyo mag-train ang muscle, so you can further increase the number of ramps per minute. Okay? So there. Any questions at the moment? So, and next here, this is the digital display for the time, since you have the unit there in minutes. So how to adjust this one, you have to select your switch there. So when you press arrow up, it's increasing the value. If ever you press this down, it's decreasing the value. Okay? So with regards to the duration, that is the duration for the entire treatment procedure. So either 10 to 15 minutes ano siya. Okay. But there are some therapists who will not base it in a treatment on the duration, but more on the number of contraction. Instead of probably like 10 minutes, ang ilan ng basihan is more the number of contraction. So I mentioned there 90 to 200 contractions per half, diba? So ang naka-problem lang if you base it on the number of contraction is that you have to look there and count the number of contraction. If you base it on the contraction, tanaw yun mo and then count mo na siya nakakapoy. And I tendency you cannot look that anymore and then count. So as compared if you're just going to set it in terms of minutes, you don't need to count the number of contraction. Okay? So take note that 90 to 200 contraction is more ideal for muscle twitch. But for tetanic contraction, it would be lesser than 90. Mga 60, 50, ano siya, kung tetanic. If you base that on number of contraction, so again, it's up to you as therapist whether you want it, treatment niyo would be based on the duration, entire one, or perhaps the number of contractions. Questions? Okay na. Next, this is the digital display for the intensity. You have there the unit, small letter M, capital A. So what is small letter M and capital A? What is this? What is small letter M niya A? Okay, milliampere, diba? So we have discussed about ampere last time, diba? It's the number of coulombs per second. So number of electrons passes through the conductor per second, that is ampere, diba? So this is milliampere. So that is 0.001 ampere. So gamay siya. Ika siya nga kadako. Okay. So if you're going, how to adjust for that, you have here the knob. So turning it clockwise would increase the value. Turning it counterclockwise would decrease the value. So if makalimot kayo mo, you just take note na lang ka ng pointed na portion, pointed, that is decreasing the value niya. Widen nga niya siya, increasing the value niya. Okay, if makalimot. Okay, so this knob is used to adjust for the intensity. So again, when you adjust the intensity, it should be gradual ha, dili siya abrupt, kaliton. Kung kaliton ninyo, then expect ka that it can again encounter a shock. What type of shock ganito? If ever abrupt ang pa-adjust sa intensity. What type of shock? Again? Sure. It's electrical shock. Wala siya nag-involve ng current going towards the ground, di ba? Diri ra ninyo i-adjust. Kalit man. Kalit. Di man siya yung padong ang current to the ground. It's still here, di ba? But kalit lang ninyo i-adjust. So therefore, it's an electrical shock. Hindi siya earth shock. Clear? Okay. Shock. Okay. So here, with regards to the intensity, there's no standard value of your electricity. Intensity. There's no standard value there. Kaya mo vary man from one person to the other person. There is person yung very sensitive and structured. There are also person yung less sensitive. So mo vary. So wala yung standard. So how would you know na enough na ang current? So enough na ang current or intensity sa current if the desired action or muscle action is elicited, then that's already the intensity. Again, the desired muscle action. So let's just say you're stimulating your wrist flexors. Okay, wrist flexors. Let's just say money ang contraction happen. Enough na siya, kulang pa. Okay, kulang pa if ever. How about that? So, in-increase ka. How about that? Kulang pa siya, so ni-increase ka. How about that? Enough? So, kung yung may analyze, okay na siya. But might be kuwang pa siya gamay, you can still further ask the patient, Ma'am, okay pa kung atong pa-increasean, hindi siya sakit. O may mga patient, okay ra, so pwede niyo further ma-increase. So, ano na nga siya, so okay na siya. So, that is a switch. Okay. So, how about a tetanic contraction? Tetanic, if ever mo na siya, ano na siya? Is it enough? Kulang. Kulang pa. Sige, after increase, ano na? Enough? Kulang. Kulang pa. If ever. Ano, enough? Kulang. Okay, so basi enough siya. But if ever patient siya still tolerate, pwede pa ganyan mo i-increase. Here up. So again, your intensity would be based on the desired muscle. There are some patients that even just light nga hindi na siya ganan sa feeling. Like for example, ano siya, ana ang contraction, may ang patient, are, di na ko ganan sa feeling, ay stop. So there. So if ever that will happen, that di ganan ang patient sa feeling and then gamay ra kay motion, then don't apply na lang the modality. Kaya useless ay mga modality that there is no more action there na produce. You want motion there, action niya. Kung wala na produce, so useless siya. So therefore, don't apply na lang the modality. There are some patients na di yung ganahan ng current. Okay? There are also some patients na ganahan yung kesa sa current mo feel. Like even pagkusog na kayo mga sa sige pa, yeah. There are even times na the intensity is already high, taas na tayo niya. Pahingan pa, sige pa. So take note that you also have to be careful kaya might pwede siya maka-encounter over excess current here. So therefore, just try to make an alibi if ever you encounter that type of patient na okay na yun niya. So make an alibi, may ka, sir, okay na siya sir, kaya enough na siya, kaya kasi ma-cause niya, o burn. May nga niya pa siya, sige lang good, sige pa kid, okay naman. May nga na lang alibay. Sir, wala na yung sir. Wala na yung highest na sir. Hindi na ako ka-increase further. So just make an alibi para you cannot further increase the intensity. Okay? So there. Take note also, if we're going to look at the machine there, ang imong i-adjust is the intensity, di ba? So, and then express intensity. So take note that this machine is what we call now as a constant current machine. As we mentioned, there are two types of machine. Constant current is CC, or constant voltage, that is CV. Okay. So when we say constant current, gani is that the therapist can able to adjust the current, and whatever is being adjusted the current, that current will always remain constant all throughout the treatment. So muna siya na term na constant current. When you have a constant voltage, your therapist can able to adjust the voltage, and the voltage will remain constant. So if ever your machine, MA man na siya, intensity sa current, so pasabot, constant current siya. But if ever volts gani ang nakabutan niya, volts, ya mo imong i-adjust, so that machine is a constant voltage. Okay? Siya. So take note that a constant current na machine is safer as compared to a constant voltage. So constant current gani is safer siya. Ano safer siya? It's because the therapist can able to manipulate the intensity of the current. Kung ingon niya nga, let's say, i-adjust the therapist 5 milliampere, 5 milliampere na yun niya ang ma-encounter niya nga maximum. Di na mo go beyond. So, man siya safe. It's because the one that is going to your structure or human tissue is the current and not the voltage. Kung inyo i-recall, ang volts there, ang volts is the force that would would let the electron flow. Siya ang force. But ang flow dito is the current. So therefore, kung ang imong, let's say, if ever is the voltage there na imong na-control, so is the force. If ever, let's say, ma-remain constant imong voltage, but your current can vary. Pwede siya mo vary. So if ever mo vary siya, so kuya makurentihan imong patient or excess ang imong intensity, kay mo vary man imong intensity. So that's why di kay safe ang constant voltage. As compared to constant current, safer siya because imong current, di na yun na siya mo change whatever you adjusted here. So there. Any questions at the moment? Okay na. Okay, next, this one. This is what we call now your reversal polarity switch. Okay. So, reversal polarity switch ha. So, from the word polarity means the charge of the electrode. Okay. So, here, with regards to the electrode, kung alternating current mga siya, kung alternating current, the polarity of the electrode there, the charge of the electrode will change from time to time kung alternating. So for example, say if ever this is positive, this is negative. So alternating ha. After certain period of time, ang imong positive na electrode becomes negative now. Anya, imong negative becomes positive. After ana, ang imong sa negative will become positive. Imong positive will become negative. So, man siya alternating current is the current will now move to and fro. So mag-change ang polarity sa imong electrode from time to time. But in direct current, kasi mo dati, direct current, the polarity of your electrode will remain constant, the same all the time. If ever positive ganin siya, always positive na siya all throughout. Di na siya mag-change. Basta direct current. Okay. So, when you say reversal polarity switch, is that you can reverse the charge or the polarity of your electrode. Siya reversal polarity switch. So if we're going to look at here, kaning switch here, you have 3 to choose. Tulo ni siya. At the center is 0. So if you place this selector switch to 0, that would indicate that there is no charge or polarity sa imong electrode kung 0 na siya. Okay. So you have to choose whether positive or negative yun. Okay, kung imo niya is 0, even if you increase the intensity there, wala yun na siya current ma-produce. Kaya 0 man yung polarity here. So when you adjust this to the, let's say for example, to the positive. So kani siyang line, i-point towards the red. I-point towards the red. So that would indicate that it will not change the charge of the red electrode. So kung imo i-analyze, you have two here, di ba? One is red, then the other is black. So this is the red. So ang i-point ana is red. So if you place the selector switch to positive, that will indicate that your red is positive. Automatically your black would be negative. Okay. If you place the selector switch to negative, so the red may change. So ang red now becomes negative. Automatically the black becomes positive. Here. So here, take note, you have a color here sa imong electrode, di ba, na kay red o black. So if you don't have a reversal polarity switch, kung wala kay reversal polarity switch siya, the universal color there will be applicable. So what's the universal color gani of your, if ever it's red, what is the charge there sa electrode? Is it positive or negative? Universal color is red. Kung red siya. Kung siya gani ang electrode, is it negative or positive? Kung red. So if ever kung red, your electrode is an anode or positive electrode. Kung red, kasi universal color di red. If ever negative ang electrode, universal color there is black or your cathode. So, mani siya if ever you don't have a reversal polarity switch. So, red is positive, black it's negative. But once you have a reversal polarity switch, dili na ni siya always applicable. Kaya mo, depende na ni siya sa imong reversal polarity switch. Here, ang charge. Okay, so when this reversal polarity switch will be used? So wala din kayo siya gamit. May use na siya, let's say for example, when you apply the electrode, after that when you stabilize that with Velcro ay mong electrode, and then nabalini mo butang ay mong electrode, so pwede na, you don't need to further remove the Velcro, but just reverse or change the polarity of the electrode. More siya gamit. Okay? So, any questions for this? None? Sureness ha. Okay, then this one, this is the socket for the cable sa imong electrode. So, you have to insert the cable of the electrode. So, kaya siya ang cable, i-insert mo. I just want to emphasize also, i-insert ganin niyo sa cable, don't hold the wire of the cable in inserting or removing. Ayaw i-guniti ang wire. Ariyo ka mo hold sa kaninga part para i-insert. Kaya tendency ko, ari ka sa wire mo hold, i-insert ni mo, pasi mo bow, kaya di siya ma-insert. Dali kayo ni siya may madaot. Or even if you're going to detach, mo i-pull, like you're pulling your extension wire or your appliances and you tend to pull on the wire, tendency later on maputol na siya. So mani siya common na ma-damage ang cable kaya diri igunit sa wire. It should be kani ang gunitan, ini-attach. Here ha. So there you're going to insert that one siyang cable. Okay. So there, siyang kani ay na lang siya imay. Any questions at the moment? None? Okay, next. Let's have this electrode. So here you have several types of electrode. So one here you have this what we call as your carbon rubber electrode. So again, this electrode has different sizes. So here, if you're going to look at here, you have the same size. So here, you have an electrode that has different size. So if ever you have a different size na electrode, different ang size, so with regards to the smaller size, it should be placed on the cathode. Okay, so cathode ni siya. Then a large electrode would be sa anode. Okay, so why is it nga cathode siya? For the reason that if you place this sa cathode, o smaller ang size sa cathode, there is a greater current density. Means ang current mo ba, mas baga, dense, kay kamay naman yung area. As compared if ever you have a large area, ang current is more spread, so it is dense. So why we want the cathode to be more dense, ang iyang current density, as you have learned again in PowerPoint slide, the cathode is the electrode nga dali mo stimulate sa structure. Dali siya. Yeah, if ever imo pag i-increase ang current density, means more dense ang current. So tendency in stimulate sa structure, dali mas stimulate ang structure. Okay, kay dali na siya makastimulate. Imo pag increase ang current density, so much more makastimulate siya sa structure. And what's the advantage is that since dali mas stimulate ang structure, so lesser na ang intensity that you're going to use. Okay? So mali siya mapan. So therefore, the cathode should be the smaller na electrode. Clear? Okay, next. Questions at the moment, none. Sureness should have. So here, we're not going to apply the electrode directly to the area to be treated. So we still have to place this what we call your electrode pads. Pads din siya. So sa purpose sa pads. Ang purpose na sa pads is to hold the water. Why it has to hold water? So that imong water would not serve as the medium in order for the current to be conducted more to the structure. So kung natin ay presence of water, basa gani na, dali kayo maka-conduct ang current towards the structure. Muna siya, dali kayo ka makuritihan kung basa, diba? Mabitaw na, avoid having it wet ang imong hand or what while you're plugging in your appliances. Avoid, diba? Kaya na ayaw yung basa, or else basa, dali ka makuritihan. It's because dali kayo mo conduct ang current. So here, we want that the current can easily pass towards the structure or would encounter less resistance. Mani siya, we have to have water there. So mani ang purpose why you have the pads there. Okay, how to find this with water? So we have here the pads. So you just immerse this container and then try to squeeze that one and drain the excess water. So mayroon na siya ang pod. Okay, there. And then, after that, so drain yun ng excess water ha, ayaw ipato-to sa work. So here, your pads is more of a pouch. Mayroon siyang pouch there that you can now insert your electrode there. Okay, so insert the electrode, and then insert the electrode. And then, that's what you're going to apply now to your patient. So there, so any questions? Okay, so kinsa yung patient?